Hi everyone, my name is Nora. Welcome to Nora's Bakery. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make gingerbread cookies. We're just going to wait on some people to join before we get started. I'm also thinking we can go live on Instagram as well and see how that goes to do a two-way live. Never done that before, but we'll see. Maybe what we can do as well is share this link. Here is the link. Hey everyone. Okay, so I'm just waiting on some more people to join. We have one person so far. Feel free to always use the chat as well to ask any questions before we get started, or even introduce yourself. Where are you tuning in from? I'm just making sure everything is set up correctly. Okay. And then also I'm going to be joining from Instagram as well, so I'll just quickly set that up and we'll get started. Why am I suddenly forgetting how to go live on Instagram? uh, there we go. All right. So it's just loading. Okay. Now I'm live. All right. So as I was saying, I'm going to show you guys how to make gingerbread cookies. So I'm also going to post the link to, the recipe as well in the chat. So if you're following along, you have it to refer to. Yeah, so just a second. So for those joining in, I'm teaching how to make gingerbread cookies, but I'm also doing a live through my YouTube channel as well. So you can either tune in from Instagram or YouTube. Either should work. And yeah, so I'm putting the recipe on the chat on on YouTube just before we get started. That way, if you're following along, um, or you know what? I guess okay, it's not letting me have that many words. Okay, you know what? We'll just get started. Okay, so the first step we're gonna do, we're gonna measure our dry ingredients and then our liquid ingredients as well. So for the gingerbread cookies, you always want to start with your liquid ingredients and then your dry ingredients. So first I have here half a cup of butter, and then I'm going to use the rubber spatula to add that in. And then you want to make sure your butter is nice and soft, so that way it really incorporates together nicely, especially when you add your sugar in. Okay, so we're just going to squish our butter. And as you probably guessed, I chose gingerbread cookies because it's a perfect holiday, um, like sweet baked good to make. Yeah, I usually make either sugar cookies or gingerbread cookies around this time. So we have one question. What am I making? Yes, I'm making gingerbread cookies. For those who are wondering, and also I actually have some winter specials going on right now on my Nori's Bakery page. So basically, I have some sugar cookie kits, so you can DIY and pretty much make your own. You can decorate them yourself, and then also like there's the option of gingerbread cookies. So if you want to decorate gingerbread cookies, or also sugar cookies. So yeah, and then also hot cocoa bombs, which have been really popular at the moment. So yeah, if any of you guys are interested in booking or placing an order for any of those, feel free. And for those just joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. Asna says, yummy. Yes, they're delicious. Okay, so we're just starting with our butter here, just softening it, making sure that it's nice and smooth before we add the sugar. Takes time at first. But it always helps to use a rubber spatula. That way you can scrape the side of your bowl. And then, oh, Boki says, uh, is that your studio? I mean, yeah, kind of. I guess you could say. I operate from our commercial kitchen usually, but right now this is like my home kitchen, I guess, in my basement actually. Yeah. So like where I store everything, I can give you guys a little quick tour. Kind of, it's kind of a mess, but these are all my supplies. Yeah, got a lot of stuff. It's actually my first time filming from here. I usually film from my kitchen upstairs. Okay, now we can add in our sugar, which is half a cup as well. So that's half a cup of butter and half a cup of sugar. So yeah, like I was saying, when it comes to like orders and everything, I do everything from a commercial kitchen called the Cake Collective, which is here in Mississauga. But then when it comes to things like lists, workshops at home, where I'm the one going to be eating all the cookies or my family, and then in that case, I really need to operate from the commercial kitchen. Asna says the businesswoman. Yeah, trying. I started this business in April, for those who might be wondering. Yeah, and then so far it's been not bad. Like I would say it's on average about 2 to 3 sales a week. I'm trying to definitely work on my marketing to make it go up there. But yeah. Okay, this is taking way too long. So I have here the sugar and then the butter. And then next, once it's nice and smooth, I kind of like to create a consistency that's like, I guess you can say like toothpaste almost, like nice and smooth. And then once you can like really tell that it's smooth, you can add in your egg. So add one egg here. And then at this step, I'll start with a rubber spatula and then I'll switch over to a whisk. And also, if any of you guys ever have like questions at all along the way, or if any of you guys are following along, let me know. And I also have it on YouTube as well, so try to do some multitasking. Okay, it's gonna start to get like lumpy at first. That's why we'll switch to our whisk to make it nice and smooth. We have some more people joining in. So for those joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. Okay, so far what we've added is butter and then sugar along with 1 egg. Now we have here some molasses. For molasses, I actually like to use the Egyptian brand as opposed to like the fancy brand or fancy molasses. It's just a lot more natural that way and fresh tasting. The other one works too, whatever you have on hands. And also a fun little tip: you can actually use molasses to create your own brown sugar at home. So if you ever needed brown sugar, that's always a handy tip. So here I have 2/3 cups of molasses. And then that's when our rubber spatula is really handy. All that left over, I'm just gonna scrape it right off. Just like that. And don't worry if it's a little bit lumpy. Once we add our flour, it'll all come together. Asna says, "Where's my sister?" She's upstairs. She was here earlier, maybe, but later on, when we do like a taste test, actually, we can I can get her to try it with me. She's always like my little sister. That's perfect for that. Kids love sweets. Okay, so now that I've added the molasses, we're gonna start working on our dry mixture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a separate bowl, and then we'll add in our flour, which is 3 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. And then for all-purpose flour, you actually don't need to sift it unless it has like lumps in it. But if you're working with like cake flour, that's when I recommend to actually sift it, because naturally that one comes pretty lumpy. So we'll add that in a large bowl. And then we have our different spices that we're going to be adding to actually make it more flavorful. That's what's going to make it gingerbread tasting. Yeah. And then, so yeah, we're going to start with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Add that in there. And then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of ginger, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. This also adds a lot of flavor. And then if there's any of these ingredients you don't have, like let's say you have like the actual nutmeg, you can like grate it yourself, and that way you add fresh nutmeg, or you can get the dry one. And then similarly, like cloves, these are cloves that I actually grinded, and then we're adding about a pinch of cloves. Because cloves in particular are very strong in flavor, so you want to make sure you don't add too much of that. Another like optional ingredient you can add is both black pepper, a pinch of black pepper, which adds flavor as well. But today I'm just gonna add salt. Pinch of salt always balances out the sweetness of the sugar for all baked goods. And now we're gonna be adding the baking soda, which is 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Also, another tip as well, for those who may not have baking soda, a great conversion is that baking soda is actually 3 to 4 times the amount of baking powder. So if you ever don't have one or the other, you can just like multiply it that way. Asna says, "I'm going to come to your house to eat them." Honestly, we'd love to have you. And welcome to all the new members that are watching. So we're just making gingerbread cookies at the moment. So as you can see, I've added all those spices into the bowl with the dry ingredients, and then we're just gonna mix that together. At this step, you can use a whisk, which helps to incorporate it a lot better. But mine is being used by this bowl, so it should be fine. I just realized my sister's watching the one I have on YouTube stream. Maybe I'll tell her to come down. Okay. Hopefully she'll come in a bit. Alrighty, so now that we've added all the dry ingredients in here, so these ingredients are actually icing sugar and butter, which we'll be using for icing later. For now, we're gonna actually add a little bit of vanilla extract. I do use the alcohol-free one, but of course, whatever works for you, depending. So yeah, I'm gonna add about 1 teaspoon or half a teaspoon of the vanilla extract. It just adds flavor. It's optional if you don't have it on hand. And then we'll whisk that together and add all of the dry ingredients into the liquid ingredients. I think my sister's coming. I hear her. Okay, so I'm adding the dry ingredients. I would say start with about half of it at a time. Hey, Sally! I like calling her Sally. Her real name is actually Salma. Sally, they'd love to see you. Say hi, this is my sister. There's actually an option to join the live if you ever wanted to do that. That's an option. Especially if you guys are following along. You can always request to join the live, and then I'd love to see your progress. Okay.
I can't wait.
The other day, actually, I want to let you guys in on a little secret. So after I put this dough together, I have my little sister Sally who put this gingerbread dough that we made a few days ago. So we'll be using that later on. Because actually, once you prepare the dough, you want to put this into the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes to set before you start rolling it. Asna says, "Oh hi, I'm a super fan." Oh, thank you. Okay. You know what? Honestly, would you like to take over a little bit?
Yes, I
You
would.
can really tell she wants to. And then always cleaning as you go is really important. So I'll work on that. I'll get my little sister to mix.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so now we're gonna add in the other half of the dry ingredients.
Still another half.
Yeah, I know. We can switch. I know it's tiring.
Yes.
Especially because this butter is still not like very, very soft, so that's why.
So warn me.
And then for those joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. All right. When it gets really stiff like this, what you can even do is you can put on some gloves and then your hands. As it says, Salma Pro Chef. Yes, she's my
Thank
second
you.
chef in the house. Okay. So just use your hands to bring it all together. And then we're gonna put this in saran wrap and then put this in the fridge to set while we work on the other dough. So it was nice to have two doughs made at once. So that way I don't have to wait 20 minutes for this to set. Okay.
Now we can
You
eat
can
it.
even take the whole thing, pour it onto your surface, and this will be easier to start blending it together. I know gingerbread making is definitely a messy process. Oh, no worries. I can go over what I did so far. Khadijah's asking if she missed the step after the sugar. So yeah, what we did so far is we so we had two large bowls. One of them was the dry ingredients, one of them was the liquid ingredients. So in the first bowl we added the butter, then the sugar, and then the egg. So we mixed that all together. And also we added the molasses in that same bowl. And then in a separate bowl we had our flour and then all of our spices all mixed in into our larger bowl, in our separate bowl. And then we basically took our dry ingredients and then added it to our liquid ingredients. And now we're just mixing it all together to form a dough. I'll also be posting the recipe as well, so that way you can refer to it afterwards. And we'll be saving the live. Okay. Like I said, it's a messy process, but it'll all come together. Yeah, the best thing about using fresh molasses and not the fancy one is that you get nice, freshly tasting cookies.
Can't eat them now.
As it said, she'll be right back. No worries. Okay, there we go. See, it's nice and the dough has been formed. There we have it. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that back in the bowl. We'll saran wrap this. We'll put it in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll get started on working with the second batch of dough that we have. That's already been refrigerated, which we prepared a few days ago. This one's a lot more firm to work with, whereas that one is really soft. Okay. There's the saran wrap. I love a nice big saran wrap like this. Super convenient. Okay. And then Sally, do you want to do us a little favor and put it in the fridge? Sure. Okay. Now we'll work on this one. So you're just gonna keep molding it. Yeah, just open it. Okay. And then also what's really handy is if you have a scraper just to scrape your surface, it gets sticky. So just like a bench scraper, it's very nice. And then one more favor, Sally. I just took a scoop of flour because we need to dust your surface. Always nice to have a helper.
Go.
So Haya says, what am I baking today? Yes, so we're actually making gingerbread cookies today. So we just formed our dough, and then now we're going to start rolling it. And then we'll also have the recipe and everything, and the live saved, so that way you can always refer to it afterwards. If you missed any steps, no worries. Okay, so now as you can see, floured my surface. And also just a handy tip as well when you're flouring your surface, I like to take a little bit of flour And then instead of sprinkling it, I like to go like this. So that way it covers like your entire surface. And for all those just joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. Okay. So far we have our dough made, and then we're gonna start rolling it. Got our roll. I have my little sister who's a helper today. It was nice to have a helper. Okay. This is a really fun activity to do. If you have kids at home, or even like adults will enjoy this too.
I enjoy the eating.
My sister just said she enjoys the eating part the most. Well, of course you do. Okay, so I have my little gingerbread cookie cutter. And then you can use any size you want. This is the approximately 3-inch size one, or 3 to 4 inch. But you can use a smaller size or a bigger size, depending on the size that you want to be working with. And you can even do other shapes as well. This is what I want to use. Just nice classic design. So we have one so far, and then we'll put it on our cookie sheet. So we have here a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. I always recommend parchment, so that way it doesn't stick to your pan. And then I'm going to continue cutting the rest. And just slowly putting it on the pan. Just like that. And make sure that you don't roll it out too thin, otherwise you'll get really thin cookies. They do rise a little bit, but they don't rise too much. So make sure that you don't roll it out too thin. And for all those joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. Okay. I'm gonna finish rolling this. And then this is actually gonna go into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And the best thing about these cookies is they bake fairly quickly actually. So only about 10 minutes or so you wanna start with. And then if they're a light golden brown on the bottom, they're good to go. If you leave them too long, then they start to get really crunchy, especially after they're cooked and after they're baked. So just 10 to 12 minutes maximum, I recommend. Yeah, so we're almost done. And always make sure to preheat your oven before you start baking. It's one thing I always forget sometimes. In fact, I'm just realizing now I didn't preheat my oven. So I have my little helper who's gonna do that. Yeah, 350 degrees. Okay, almost done. After this, we're gonna show you how to make icing. So you can either use pre-made icing or you can make your own icing. Yeah, preheating my oven is one of those things. Always hard to forget. Always hard to remember. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys how this looks in a minute. Almost done. They're super cute, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, we can eat them soon, so.
So I'll do one more or two more. Right now, let me show you my progress. The best thing about being on my phone is I can just lift it and show you guys. So that's my gingerbread cookies so far. These are going to go in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes at 350. So this is enough for one more. And then the dough that we have in the fridge, that one is going to set for another 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that, we can start making more gingerbread cookies. Right after this cookie, I'm going to show you guys how to do the icing. Khadija says, so cute. Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, and I'm eating them all now.
She says she's going to eat them all.
Oh.
Khadija says, are those going to be Christmas special? I mean, right now I'm actually, for those who may not have noticed, I put out a winter special for sugar cookies. But then I did mention at the bottom that, like, for those who might be interested in gingerbread cookies instead of sugar cookies, that's going to be an option as well. But once I do bake these and then decorate them, I will be posting a photo of them as well to help with the advertising. But yeah, currently my specials are sugar cookie kits along with gingerbread cookie kits. They're DIY, so you get to decorate them yourself. They're already pre-cut and everything. And then afterwards, also hot cocoa buns. Yeah. And for those joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. All right. So one last cookie, and then going towards the icing. Okay. You can bring this upstairs, and then I'll show them how to make the icing.
In the oven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, careful. All right, so for the icing, we have here a quarter cup of butter, and then we're also going to be adding to that 2 cups of icing sugar. For icing sugar, I highly recommend sifting the icing sugar. That way it's not, that way you get a nice smooth icing and not a clumpy icing. So now, you don't want to be using the same rubber spatula. Let me see another one. I have this one. Same process. You're going to soften your butter. Sarah says, miss you so much. Thank you. I really miss you as well. It's been so long. It's nice to be to have the opportunity to go virtual. Okay, so how's everything going for you, by the way, Sarah? For those wondering, she's my cousin. Okay, so I have here a quarter cup of butter. It's almost nice and soft, as you can see. And then to that, we're going to add approximately half the amount of icing sugar, so 1 cup at a time. And then mix that in. It's tricky at first, but it does come together. Asma says, in fact, perfect. Now we're working on our icing. And you can always watch the live stream afterwards once we save it. To refer back to anything you might have missed. And my sister's back. If you guys want to say hi.
Hi.
Your voice is so low, Sally. She said, icing is the best part. It definitely is, isn't it? Especially for kids, I find. Sometimes adults will say, oh, it's too sweet or that kind of thing. But what you can do, actually, I've found that like you can even make icing out of vegan butter as well. So let's say you're vegan, you can do vegan butter. Or if you're not, you can still do vegan butter because I find with vegan butter, it's a lot softer to work with. And then it tastes a lot better, personally.
Too sweet. There's no such thing.
I should have asked you to give me a rubber spatula too. Just to speed up the process. All right. Yasmin says, can you DM me the recipe because I wanted to make it too? Yeah, for sure, definitely. I'll do that right after the live. And it'll also be posted on our Instagram as well. Okay. So if you do find it a little bit clumpy, what you can do is you can start adding in a little bit of milk. Just like, I like to eyeball it, honestly. But you could add like 1 teaspoon at a time and then work from there. Try not to add too much. But if you do end up adding too much, it's easy to fix. You just simply add a little bit more icing sugar. So if it's too thin, you add more icing sugar. If it's too thick, you add more milk.
I bought 3.
Perfect, thank you. Love rubber spatulas, they're super convenient. Okay, so this will speed up the process. There we go, that's a lot faster. And then we'll add the rest. At this step, most people will look at this icing and be like, are you sure this is going to be icing? That's what I've had a lot of kids say. But trust me, it will.
It just looks like butter. butter and sugar.
Yeah, this looks like butter and sugar at the moment. But the best thing about it as well is we can either keep it white, you can even color it as well with food coloring, depending on your preferences. With gingerbread cookies, I personally like to keep it white, just keep it nice and classic. They look cute that way. Or we might do some in color as well. Okay. Are the cookies baking in the oven, Sally?
Yes.
And did you put a timer?
No.
Always put a timer when you're baking your cookies.
How long?
How long ago did you put them in the oven?
I just came back.
So I would say put a timer for 9 more minutes. Or 8 more minutes to be safe. Okay, see? Finally icing. And then right now it's still like it's icing, but it's like a thick icing. So we're gonna add a little bit of milk to thin it out just a bit. I don't know if that's a bit too much, but no worries. Another thing you can do to flavor your icing is definitely some vanilla extract. Honestly, I just use the cap of the bottle, but you could use measuring spoons. Okay. Here's our icing. Just gonna mix that a little bit more. Oh yeah, you can have a candy cane.
Can't wait for that.
Here's our icing, it's ready. And then after that, we're gonna add it into a piping bag. And for those joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. So right now I'm doing the icing. I just finished making the icing. We're gonna put it in a piping bag. And also, if any of you missed any of the steps, we'll be adding the recipe later on and saving the video live as well. Also, if any of you have questions as well, always feel free. Okay, so we have our icing. When it comes to filling a piping bag, I always recommend filling it about halfway. And then that way you have like a little bit of space on the top. If you can tie it. If not, you can just twist it. And then it's ready to go. You just cut like a little piece at the bottom and you get to go. Leave it. Okay. And now, yeah, we'll set this aside for now. And then we'll actually do a little bit more cutting of more gingerbread cookie dough while we wait for the other ones that are baking in the oven to be ready. But of course, cleaning as you go is important.
I can get it. Cleaning's not my favorite.
Yeah, cleaning isn't the most fun, but you gotta do it. A scraper is super handy. And then we'll take some flour and we'll dust our surface again. Yeah, that's a perfect dough to be working with. It's been setting for about 10 to 15 minutes in the fridge. It's ready to work with. I love a nice fresh dough. Okay, so just like we did earlier, we'll roll this out, and we can even do more shapes if you'd like, Sally.
Oh yeah.
So just go through my cookie cutters, and you can pick whichever ones you want. As I was saying earlier, it was nice to have a helper.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you want the largest one, don't you?
Yes.
So we're gonna try one of these, the big one.
And
Okay, a gingerbread woman as well. Nice little variety.
if you want this one.
a bunch of different ones. I have this little one.
She's my favorite.
And then this cute little one as well. And then we're going to line our pan with parchment paper. So as I was saying earlier, parchment is crucial when it comes to making gingerbread cookies so they don't stick. Yeah, I'll get the parchment. Okay, I like these big sheets. That way you can just cut them right in half and they fit perfectly in your pan, your sheet pan. So just like that. Just fold it and then rip it in half. Okay, so we'll start with the big one. That's the one you requested, yes. Sally. And then
we should put a dress.
If it's hard to lift as well, you could even use like a spatula underneath it. But it's okay. It should be okay. There you go. So how many do you think we should make of these, Sally?
One.
One? Actually?
It's too big.
I was thinking two. You know what? You're right. It's too big. Okay. We will definitely need one gingerbread woman.
Yes. We should have three.
Three of these? Okay. And then maybe this little guy as well. So we have some more people joining in. We're making gingerbread cookies.
She's the most important.
So far we've made our dough and we've made our icing as well. And then right now we have some that are baking in the oven. We're just making some more at the moment. Let's show you our progress. Making little different sizes. We have my little sister who's helping out. Okay. And our recipe will be saved to refer to. Same with the live. Oh, you want to use the mini one as well? So we have gingerbread women and gingerbread men.
Oh,
cute little. Asma says, can you eat it on camera? Yes, definitely. Once they start baking, once they're ready to go and baked and we ice them, we can do that.
Well, I'll be the first person to eat them.
Of course you will. And remember, when you're making the cookies, don't roll them out too thin. So like this thickness is perfect. I would say it's about like 3/4 of a centimeter, approximately. Alrighty.
Can I do one more of him?
I think I'm gonna do more of these. Just the plastic one. Because that way, if you repeat the same size, you can get consistency with the photographs we take later. And how long is this live stream? Pretty much what's left is we're going to be, as soon as the cookies are ready and baked, we're going to ice them, and then we'll try them on camera, and that'll be it for today. So I would say maybe like 10 to 15 more minutes maximum, probably. Yeah, approximately. Actually, that's a really good point. I think that on Instagram, we may get cut off because they only give you an hour to do a live stream. So we technically have like 15 minutes left, actually. Yeah, because we started this at 8:05. Yeah. So we have 15 minutes left before the live ends. And as I was mentioning before as well, we're live on YouTube at the moment at the same time. So I don't think YouTube has a minimum, but I'm not sure. Oh, apparently it tells you how long we've been on. So we've been on for 45 minutes. Yeah, so I guess right. 15 more minutes left.
Perfect timing with 7 seconds left.
Oh, perfect. My sister says there's 7 seconds left and the cookies will be ready.
Actually, there's 0.
Well, now they're cooling. You can't eat them very hot. And you also don't want to ice your cookies when they're really hot because otherwise your icing is going to melt on you on the cookies and you don't want that. Asma says, decor. Oh, I see. That's in French. P.S. I think Sally knows what it means. What's your channel name? My channel is called Nora's Bakery. And if you don't happen to find it, before it was called Baking with Nora with a space between. But let me see if I can actually mention it in the chat, just in case. It should be Nora's Bakery. I don't know if you can put links or not on the live. I'll just write the name of it. Ah, did I spell that wrong? I couldn't see my screen. Baking with Nora. Yeah, that should work. Yeah. And then, if you want, actually, let me see if I can copy the link. I don't know why it's not giving me the option. That's okay. I'll send it to you afterwards if you're not able to find it. Oh, actually, I also put a link to it in my bio on my Noise Bakery Instagram here. That's another way you guys can find it. No, there's 3 people. Huh? I should what? Okay, so we're almost done. Sorry, distractions in the house always. That's okay, no worries. We're the ones eating it. Otherwise, I would be saying no. Okay, and then if you want to go get me the cookies, if they're ready.
Yeah, they're right.
We can start cooling them on a cooling rack to cool them faster. That's also another tip if you want to cool cookies faster. Also, as I was saying earlier, we actually have approximately 10 minutes left of this live stream before it ends. And for those joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. We made the dough so far. We also made icing. And yeah, we'll also be saving the live to refer to afterwards. Okay, so here's how they look so far. So for some reason, I'm trying to send a smiley face in the chat to get rid of this chat. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, so for those joining in, we're making gingerbread cookies. Good. So careful, Sally. I have my little sister helping me. So this is the first batch that baked. Yeah, they're done. They should be still soft. I'll show you guys the baked ones.
The best one.
And yeah, definitely they're actually best when they're warm. So maybe we can try one more, split it while we wait for it to cool. And then we can start decorating them once they cool.
I get most of it.
Okay, so let's take this one that's like it's gonna be still fairly hot. Here's our little gingerbread man. And I love a nice soft gingerbread cookie. The best thing about making them yourself is when you make them yourself, they're nice and soft. When you get them from the store, they're really as hard as a rock, which I'm not a fan of.
Yum.
What do you think?
I love it.
They're good.
So good. And then it is like
So good.
stop eating me.
going to show you my favorite brand of molasses. This one. Comes all the way from Egypt, actually. Yeah. So we're going to wait on those to cool, and then we can decorate them. And that'll be it for today. If you have any questions, definitely let us know. Our live will be ending at 9:05, I believe.
Isn't that in like 7 minutes?
They're so good with it. I'm really nice and warm like this. Just be careful with your dough because it can start to crack on you the softer it gets. Okay. I'm going to save this for later. Yeah, Asma says I have a question for Sally. Definitely. You can type it out, and then as soon as she comes back, she'll answer. She said she'll be right back. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to transfer these. That way they cool faster. I want to cool it back. So Asma has a question for you, Sally.
Yes.
Yeah, she is back. So you can feel free to ask. What is her favorite candy cane flavor? That's a really good question. I know what mine is.
I like raspberry.
Raspberry. Interesting. She says raspberry. Mine is actually cotton candy. I think that's what her favorite is too, not raspberry. Oh, as it says, mine's cherry. Interesting. Believe it or not, actually, I don't know why, but I don't know. I don't like any candy flavored, cherry candy flavor at all. I love cherries. Love cherries that are fresh. But when it comes to candy, I kind of feel like cherry candy tastes like medicine. I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah, I can get it.
But I do like cherry Jolly Ranchers. Those are pretty good, I must say.
I mean, all Jolly Ranchers are good.
Yeah, like my favorite one though is watermelon for sure.
So am I.
So let's actually put some of these in the fridge to cool even faster.
But I don't want them to cool.
I know, but what we're gonna have to do is let's take like 3 of them, and then otherwise they're not gonna cool in 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes left, Sally.
5 minutes left?
Yeah. So actually, I'm gonna put these on a plate and then in the fridge.
Yeah, that's a better idea.
Or even one of these. Whatever you have on hand.
That's not a good. But they'll do.
My plates are upstairs.
Okay.
There you go. So
Then you
that
got
goes in the fridge. And let's start our icing in the meantime.
Oh, in my milk?
Yeah. You're funny. Okay. The biggest struggle I find is finding a pair of scissors whenever I'm working.
What? Do me a fridge.
Also, with our icing, yeah, for those joining in, we were just working on gingerbread cookies. So we're actually almost done. But if you missed any of the steps, we'll be saving the live to refer to afterwards and sharing the recipe. Another thing I actually want to mention as well, just before the live ends later on, I do offer paid workshops as well on my website. So that way, like if any of you guys want to like put your email down, and then I can send you like the other ones that I offer. And then for all those who joined in, you guys actually get an exclusive discount towards those workshops that I have coming up. So for example, I'm going to do like a sugar cookie decorating workshop coming up. I'm also thinking things like chocolate chip cookies, etc. Even brownies.
So to eat them all,
yeah, so anything, even suggest anything that you guys want as well. As it says, the humor. Okay, 1 second. Where's the scissors?
Scissors.
literally, I don't know what it is. I bought like 5 or 6 scissors before, and I lose them all the time. I know I have them somewhere.
No, I have them somewhere.
I want to show the decorating. She wants to show the decorating.
What?
Yeah.
We have to eat them though.
I know.
That's almost my favorite.
Okay. We can do this.
Why didn't we
How about Sally? Go get the scissors from the kitchen upstairs. Okay.
Start it.
Oh wait, I have a sensor upstairs for no reason. Here it is. It's finally working. So you want to test it out before you actually apply it to the cookie. And I'll show you an example why you should never put icing too early. So here I'm going to do it with one cookie. That's still warm. I'll show you the difference. Sally, I know you're going to kill me. I found a way to open it.
What?
Thank you for the scissors. Okay, so this icing, as you can see, is already starting to melt on me.
So you made me get these broken scissors for no reason?
They're not broken.
They came apart.
Okay, let me show you. As you can see, they're a mess right now. Why? Because this is icing that's been on a warm cookie. So that doesn't go well. There has to be a cold cookie. Now another thing as well you could do
It's eat them.
because our icing is a little on the thin side. You can thicken it out a bit. So I'm actually gonna take half of it, and we literally have like 2 minutes.
A minute. Did you say 9:05? There's a minute left.
And then I'm gonna add some icing sugar to it.
That's how you figure it out.
Earlier, I should have added more milk.
Don't hurt me.
So we're gonna mix that in, the sugar, just until it thickens up a bit. Since we added way too much milk, we need to make it thicker.
And then
And then yeah, so I get the cookie from the fridge.
oh, me? Oh, I was putting my favorite thing on it.
Oh, she wants to put M&Ms on the.
Oops.
Yeah, that's more like it. Icing is coming together.
Okay, I'll get those things to me.
Perfect. This is the consistency you want your icing.
They don't look as good as the ones that we.
Sally's so annoyed. Of course she is. I make her do too many favors. Okay.
These don't look as good as the yummy hot
I
ones.
think we have like a minute left.
A minute?
It will also notify me before the live ends. I have a minute left.
Okay.
So it's 1 or 2 minutes before it ends. I think we can do it. We can make it happen. So,
I just eat them all.
doing the piping bag again, and then the scissors. Where did you put the scissors down?
I don't know.
Oh, you actually forgot already? You just have
Oh,
them.
they're right here.
Okay, I was like, how can you forget that fast?
Don't stick my hand in it.
Okay, so just gonna do that. Then we're gonna cut a small hole, and then a good tip, as you can see, the piping bag has a line, and then you should just cut like a really small hole, not too big. And then we're gonna take one gingerbread cookie and start decorating it. So we're gonna make an outline. That's what I like to do. And then, yeah, we're almost done. I think it's gonna notify me soon.
I have an idea. Can we add one of these?
Okay, so now, wait, before you add anything, just want to show you guys the difference. Okay, so do you guys see the difference between icing on a cookie that's warm versus a cookie that's not warm. Big difference.
Sorry, I just ate that M&M.
So that's our lovely little cute gingerbread cookie. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, that's it for our live today. And Sally wants to decorate this one with some M&Ms. Ooh, you're gonna make the buttons with M&Ms? Isn't that clever?
Oh, this one's mine.
She already wants to eat the first one. So I'm gonna do one more until the live ends because I know it's gonna end soon.
Already?
Unless they have a new policy that allows you to do it longer than an hour, but I'm not familiar with.
No.
I'm pretty sure I started at 9:07. Oh, sorry, 8:07.
I'll eat it.
And yeah, so for all those, just before we head off soon, as I mentioned, I have some upcoming paid workshops on my website at the moment. If you want to sign up for those, feel free. And then I will be sending you guys, everyone who joined this live, a link to that. Okay, yeah, time to eat them.
Yeah.
The fun part before we end the live. So here's mine and here's Sally's. Okay, time to enjoy it.
Yeah, let's eat
This is so good.
I think the best part.
Yeah, the icing is a lot. Nice combination.
Oh, M&M's.
And thank you all for tuning in. I hope this was fun. And if you want to refer to it afterwards, we'll save the live. Okay, Mama says big smiles. Yes, definitely. You can also enjoy it with like milk or water. I'll go traditional. So that's everything for today. I'll give you guys a few seconds to let me know if you have any other questions. If not, we'll end it there. And we'll definitely take some pictures of this and post it later on as well. I hope this was fun.
Ended?
So for those just we're actually about to end the live because we've been on for about an hour now. But if you missed it, no worries at all. We're going to be saving it, and you can refer to it afterwards. Yeah.
Bye.
I hope that was fun. We were making gingerbread cookies, by the way.
Oh, not until it's happening, but.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
I hope that lets me save. Share to IGTV.
Wow. I'm just done with it.
You done?
Oh yeah, I'm done. Oh, I didn't end it from here.
Wait, they're still watching.
Yeah, they're still watching.
Say wallah.
Okay, one second. All right, bye everyone. I'm ending the live.